Hi guys, I'm Ivory and welcome to my channel. So today's video is something that I've been planning for a while, but I didn't have all the products to do this video. So by the title, you already know I'm doing a full face of Ipsy makeup. So all of the products are going to be things that have been given to me in my Ipsy bag. Some of the stuff I use and some of these products I have not gone into, so it's going to be a mix of both. I wouldn't say this is a tutorial. This is more so either a first impression / full review type of situation. And what's funny is I'm doing a full face of Ipsy products, and I actually just last month, September, canceled my Ipsy subscription. So I'm going to talk about that more as we apply some makeup. But before we get into it, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every single week. And also be sure to follow me on my social media. Everything is _ivorycherry. Okay, so I want to do my brows first because it's a pomade, and this is my first time ever using a pomade. So I want to do the brows first, so in case I mess it up, I only have to wipe off the brows. So this is the Salon Perfect One and Done Brow Pomade in the shade Dark Brown, and it comes with a dual-ended brush, so one side is an angular thin tip and then there's a spoolie on one end. I'm going to use this applicator and I'm going to apply it the way, oh, that's really pigmented. Okay, good to know. But I'm going to start in the middle like I normally would, and then once there's less product, I'm going to bring it to the front. Right off the bat, this isn't really the color that I like. It kind of reminds me of Swiss hot chocolate, whereas my preference is more like a gray toned brown. Okay, oh my god, I was looking at the small mirror, and then when I see my farther away mirror and I see the big picture, I applied way too much. Disregarding that, so I just want to show you. So this is the shade that it is right out of the pot, and I prefer a shade more like this one. This one is from Causemetics. It's the Crown Brows in the shade Dark Brown. Do you see the difference? This is the one that I like. This one, it's just a different type of brown that I don't prefer. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just I have a preference. But the product itself went on really easily. Obviously, a little bit goes a long way because I already overdid it. But the product itself is very smooth, and I think this is more so for people who don't have a lot of hair in the first place. And the applicator is quite nice too. A lot of the times when a product comes with its own applicator, a lot of people don't use it. They use their own stuff, but I don't mind this at all. Okay, so the brows, they're blocky. We're not off to a great start, but we're gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna clean them up using the Tarte Shape Tape. I bought the full size of this years ago. I love this concealer, but it is quite expensive, so I never repurchased it. And as a beauty channel, I'm always trying new products, so I don't like to repurchase the same things because then I'll never diversify. But I'm gonna use that to clean up the brows, and because this is a mini, I can get right up close, and then I'm going to use a flat shader brush to clean them up. And I would say this concealer is one of the better things that I've gotten, because when I was writing my preferences on what I like to get, I wrote that I love foundations and concealers, and every single time I would get them in the bag, I would rate them so that they knew that I wanted to get more. And I've had the Ipsy bag since last June, so not this past June, the year before that. And in that time frame, I only ever got 2 concealers and 2 foundations, which was super disappointing to me, and one of the reasons why I decided to cancel my Ipsy bag. All right, so the brows look kind of scary. Well, it is spooky season, so I guess it's fitting. I'm gonna do the eyes next. So another thing about Ipsy when you have the cheapest level is they never give you eyeshadow palettes. You only ever get single shadows. I never reach for these. Some of these are good quality, but I am not a single shadow type of person. I rather just go into a palette and get everything that I need. And none of the colors have been interesting enough for me to be like, ooh, I wanna get that specific shadow to add to this look. And this last one, it's not technically an eyeshadow, but I might use it as one because even though it's advertised as a highlighter, this is the Tetris and Ipsy highlighter, it's completely unusable on me. It's beautiful, but I can't think of any skin tone where this as a highlight would look flattering. And out of all the single shadows, even though this isn't technically counting as one, but we'll do it in this case, I'll allow it, 4 out of the 7 are purple. So I might stick with that. I don't know. I didn't come with a game plan today. And you know what's also wonderful is that they're all shimmers. Oh boy, I really done it this time. This one is the least shimmery, so I'm gonna use that as a transition shade. So this is the Catrice Causemetics eyeshadow in the shade Luminous Lilac. And I'm gonna go in with a fluffy brush and hope for the best. Oh boy. I'm having some regrets here. Maybe we'll go for like a vintage vibe. Back in the day, they didn't always have mattes as a transition shade. So we are kicking it old school, I guess. It also kind of goes with my clips and my shirt. I'm gonna take the WINKY Luxe eyeshadow. This is in the shade Ursula. I'm gonna add that into my outer V using the same eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna take a little bit more of the concealer. I'm gonna cut the crease. I'm hoping here that the more steps I add, the better that this look will turn out. And then with a flat shader brush, I'm gonna go into the Tetris Life highlighter, and we're gonna place that on top. Wow, that is beautiful. This is my first time actually going into the highlighter. I don't know if it's pretty with this look, but the shadow itself is very pretty. And I feel like that shade really helped out the look. I mean, is it the best look I ever created? No, but we're making lemonade out of lemons here. I'm gonna clean up some of this fallout I got over here, and then we're gonna move on to foundation. Okay, so for foundation, I'm using the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-Hour Hydrating Foundation. I feel like they changed the name of this. It used to say 15-hour wear, but now it says 24-hour wear. I feel like I've tried this before, and I'm 80% sure that I like it, but I can't remember because, you know, I try so many foundations. Let me know if you want me to do a wear test on this foundation. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I've already decided. I haven't done a wear test in a while, so this is gonna be one. And the shade I got is 3.18, which seems like a decent match. The first foundation I ever got from them, it was way too light. So after that, I changed my profile so that instead of medium, I put medium dark. And I think that helped because this foundation seems to match me way better. The foundation itself is really liquidy. It reminds me of the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation, but I'm gonna wait for the first layer to dry before I add in a second coat. So I'm gonna go back in with the Tarte Shape Tape. And this foundation is one of the most full coverage I've ever seen, so a little dab will do ya. And this will be enough for the entire face, like the forehead and then the chin. All right, and then I'm gonna go in with my second coat now that the first one is dry. Even after the second coat, it's not giving me the coverage that I like. I really could have sworn that I've used this before and that I like the coverage, but today that is not the case. Oh, all right, third layer, here we go. Okay, that is way better. It's still not perfect, but my max is 3 coats, so we're moving on. To set, I'm using the Ciate Extraordinary Translucent Powder. This thing is so tiny. I think this might cover up my entire face, this entire bottle. I have not used this yet, so I actually have to peel off that seal. I can't get to it. It's too tiny, and I have small hands too. Okay, so there's no way I'm gonna be able to put my sponge into this cap. So I'm gonna take my Coty Airspun cap and just dump it into that instead. I'm gonna put in just this much, see how it goes. Okay, feels really smooth. I really hope this doesn't give me flashback. One time I did a tutorial and I didn't know the product gave me flashback, and it looked normal when I was looking in the mirror. And then when I go back into the footage, there's just huge white cast just like this. But if you saw me in person, you would see none of it. So I had to redo my entire tutorial all over because I started with my base. So I looked like this throughout the entire video. So that was really awesome. And surprisingly, I still have some left. This is a really good travel size one, if it's good. So far, it feels good, but this is just the first impressions. I'm gonna take what's left in the lid and just kind of spread it everywhere. Okay, so I wanna finish off the eye, so I'm gonna go back into Tetris Life. I'm gonna use a pencil brush, and I'm gonna bring that into the first third of my lower lash line. And then for the rest of the lower lash line, I'm gonna go back into the Catrice eyeshadow, and I'm gonna apply that to the rest of the space. I'm actually gonna go into the NOMAD eyeshadow as well with the pencil brush. I'm gonna apply that to the brow bone. This is supposed to act as both an eyeshadow as well as a highlight, but it has a pretty strong purple blue shift to it. But for the sake of the video, I'll just use it as highlight as well. I actually don't have a bronzer. They never gave me one, but they gave me a ton of blushes. That's one of the most common things that Ipsy would give me. So I have one from Steve Laurent. This is one of my favorite blushes, and another one from the BALM. I'm gonna mix both just because why not? I'm gonna add some to my forehead too because I don't have bronzer. So for highlight, I have the MAC Strobe Cream. This is in Pink Light. I remember using this and I didn't feel like it was worth the hype that a lot of beauty gurus were giving it. It's extremely subtle. To get that really radiant glow, you have to add a pretty generous amount. I feel like this would be better underneath before a foundation or mixing it with a foundation. Like that's a better use for this type of product. All right, so for lips, I have two. I have the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipstick in the shade Babe Alert. I actually really like this formula, and I really like the pointed applicator. You can get really precise and up close. I'm gonna let this dry and I'm gonna move on to lashes. I'm using the Thrive Causemetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara in the shade Rich Black. I've used this a couple times. I haven't worn it for a very long time, but from the short time that I've worn it, I actually really like this mascara. It gives me all the things that I really focus on a mascara, which is length and separation, but I also really like the way this mascara gets removed, which is not something that I ever looked for in a mascara until I saw this one. So when I take off my makeup, this mascara comes off in like little tubes. It's so cool. It's kind of like a glove on your lashes and then they just kind of peel off. So it's very easy removal, which I really like. This is my backup mascara. So after I'm done with my Maybelline one, this is the one that's next in line. Okay, and then last product, I'm going in with the BALM Creamy Lip Stain. This is in the shade, I don't know what shade this is in. I think it's in Namaste, but I don't know for sure. But this is a lip stain, so it is transfer proof, but I like the color of this one, so I'm just gonna add it on top. And this is the type of formula where you'll still sort of see your lip peeking through. It's not as opaque as a liquid lipstick or a lipstick. So just be aware that if that's something that you're looking for, this might not be the product for you. All right, so this is the completed look. Let's do a rundown of the products. The brow product, not really my shade. It's super pigmented, and all together with my face now, the brows don't look as scary. I don't know, I feel like my nature with brows, I'm already a little bit heavy-handed. So for me, it's really easy to go overboard on this, whereas something that needs a little bit more pressure is perfect for me because even if I press really hard, I can build up to the intensity. So this is more of a personal preference thing. I think the quality is good. The applicator is really good too. It just isn't something that I would normally gravitate towards. And just a reminder, this is a first impression, so who knows, maybe in a couple months, I might pick this up again and change my mind, but that's how I'm feeling just from trying it this first time. The foundation, I really feel like I've tried this foundation before and I had a better experience with it. This one took a minute to layer up. Now that it's on, I mean, it doesn't feel super heavy, but I've only had it on for what, an hour? But I'm gonna do a wear test on this, so be on the lookout for that. Tarte Shape Tape, amazing. The Ciate translucent powder, I mean, it felt nice on the under eye. Skin looks matte, didn't alter my foundation, I don't think. Please Lord, I hope I can look in the footage and I look normal. The blushes are good. I actually really like all the blushes that they give me. I think in general, when it comes to makeup, it's really hard to mess up blush. Even when I did a full face of Dollar Tree makeup, the blushes there were fine too. Like, I think it's nearly impossible to mess up on blush. The lip products were good. I actually use these quite frequently. The MAC strobing cream, I remember when I did the unboxing for this for that month and I used it and I still feel the same way. Like I don't really get it. And since that video, I never picked this up again. So this is not something that I normally put in my routine. So yeah, that's it. The single shadows, I mean, they're not like that bad of quality. They're not fantastic, but I'm not really a single shadow type of person, at least not anymore. I've gotten a couple, but in general, I never think, oh my God, I love this color so much that I just want only a pot of that. I think the best way to get the most bang for your buck is to just get a palette with a lot of shades that you really like. So even though the shadows aren't bad, I never reach for them. And lastly, the mascara. Like I said, I've tried it a couple times. I never wore it for a super long time. I like it so far. I like the length that it gives me, but the lower lash line is always something that I'm concerned about, so we'll have to see if it'll smear. For anyone that is considering getting Ipsy, first of all, let me say the good things about Ipsy. So first of all, it's very cheap. The lowest one is $10. I think they actually went up to $12 because nowadays you get to pick at least 1 out of the 5 products in your bag, which is kind of nice. And of course, when I cancel my subscription, then they would make that change. So go figure. But it is relatively cheap and you know, you get like a cute bag out of it and new makeup. So it's a decent way to get some makeup into your inventory. And it is a little bit like a Christmas present to yourself every month. Some of my favorite products that I've gotten from Ipsy are my brushes. They used to give me a brush pretty much every single month. A lot of the lip products I still use, but in general, when I look back, are there any products that I would repurchase from them? Probably not. I've never really loved something from my Ipsy bag that I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that I got the sample size. Like I can't wait to get the full size. So there was that. And another thing is I felt like they weren't as customized as they claimed to be. Cause like I said, I like base products. So I wanted a lot of concealers and foundations, and I thought it would be really great to get sample sizes. That way I can try a lot of foundations, and also I would finish them a lot quicker than getting, say, like a full size, because these take me, depending on the foundation, like 6 to 8 months. I have only gotten 2 foundations and 2 concealers in the year that I've had Ipsy. I've actually had it for a little over a year by now. And when I watch other people's unbaggings, a lot of us had like 3 out of the 5 same products, maybe a different shade or maybe a different color lipstick, but the products were pretty much the same. I also subscribed to Ipsy thinking that I would be using a lot of their single shadows and it would be nice for like a pop of something with the palettes that I already have, and I thought I would use the single shadows a lot more, but that ended up not being the case. And in the end, I felt like I was giving a lot of my products away either to other friends or I would put them in a giveaway, and I'm like, why am I paying for something and then just giving it away? Like, clearly I don't like it enough to keep it for myself. So that to me is also an indication that I'm wasting my money. So even though I've gotten some good products from Ipsy, I feel like I have enough in my inventory that adding any more would just be a waste and it would just be collecting dust, and the $10, even though kind of insignificant, can be put to better use. So in terms of recommending Ipsy, it really depends on what you're looking for. If you really like base products like me, you'll get quite a few blushes, probably some highlighters and lip products, but in terms of foundations, concealers, setting powders, you're not gonna get a lot of that, I don't think. And as far as eyeshadows, they're kind of limited. My preference was colorful or neutrals. Like, I liked everything, so send me whatever. And a lot of the colors were not super interesting to me. I also got a ton of skincare. I had a bunch of face masks, moisturizers, face exfoliators, and peel off masks. None of those things were products that I would ever repurchase. So it depends how you're trying to build up your makeup inventory. Ipsy definitely sends you a lot of the same things, but that is my personal experience, so take that as you may. And that is it for this video. So I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to like this video and feel free to comment down below what types of videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.